Hi guys, Steven Sun at Homes by Sun with Remax. We're back again today to talk about not only what the real estate market did last week, but we're going to take a quick look at how the real estate market did overall in February. I think if you have been following the news in terms of the real estate side, you might have been seeing that the numbers are pretty good overall in February. So let's take a quick look together, and I'll share some of my opinions with you. So here is the market stat for the month of February 2022 from Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. In February, the average sales price rose to 1.33 million, which means if you were to buy an average home in the GTA, that's what you're looking to pay. Obviously, that takes into consideration of condos, townhouse, semi-detached. So across all types of properties, that will be the average price. So it was a big jump from a year ago. The increase was about 27.7%. So almost 30% jump from the year ago, which is in line with because of the lower inventory. We can see that new listing in February did rise, but it's still below here. It's still below the number of listing in February 2021. We are catching up in terms of inventory, but in terms of the overall number of available listing, it's still a little bit lower than what the usual is. Number of sales, top 9,000 sales for the month of February, which is really, really good. And it's still slightly below last year around this time. And then the listing to sale ratio is about 64%, meaning that 64% of the listings are selling, so we have about 36% of inventory that don't sell. They either terminate or they get canceled, relist, things like that. As far as last year goes, 72% list to sale to list new listing ratio. So more property was selling last year in February than this past February. So I wanted to take a look at the MLS chart. This is very interesting chart. It gives us an idea of how we're trending month to month compared to the 3 previous years. So in terms of the number of sales, we are on track. And I think I explained that before. For the past few years, 2019, 2020, 21, we always see a jump in the number of sales in the first 3 months and it tapers off. Mostly because a lot of people over the winter, they get sick and tired of their home and they start looking right after Christmas. And if everyone starts doing that, the inventory doesn't get caught up right away. So we have in January an inventory shortage, but the demand is quite large. What that does is it sort of creates, I want to go to this, the average sale price. So because of the activity in the first few months, we see that prices, these prices tend to increase in the first few months as well. So let me just delete that. So we look at the gray one. The gray one was going up like this. This was 2019 was still a pretty good year, but 2020 we had COVID hit in March, so it was going up and all of a sudden it dropped. So for the green line, and 2021 things were a little bit more normal. So we see that the prices were going up high, and it kind of stayed the same throughout the year. Sales were happening, it was active, it was busy, and we had pretty good year overall in 2021. 2022 started off with a big jump in price, as we can see here, and it continued in February. Still a big jump in price overall. But what we are seeing now is there may be a slight pullback, a bigger gap because there's more inventory now. And that leads me to our weekly update. So let's take a look at the weekly number for last week. So the last week was February 26th to March 4th. This is the date of what we're looking at, the data that we're looking at. And we note that there were almost 3,000 homes listed for sale that week. And so but the number of transactions is only around 1,500. So, So with a jump in, so there were about 10% jump in number of new listing week to week, but the number of sale kind of stayed the same. It was 1,448 versus 1,495. So the number of transactions didn't really rise much, telling us that the buyers who are in the market have either already bought or they're still looking, but we haven't added more buyers, or the number of buyers that are out of the market, either bought or stopped looking, it's the same as the ones that are entering in. We don't have more people entering in. So what happens is we have a bigger and bigger gap between the number of listings available and the number of transactions. That in turn creates more selection for buyers. With more selection, we see that the price in the last week or so, price have gone down a little bit. Now, take into consideration that because we're looking at a very small window of 1 week statistics, the average price may be affected by more number of lower end properties sold for pretty good price versus the number of high-end property that were sold. So take that with a grain of salt. All we can say is because of a larger gap in the number of homes available for sale and number of transactions, we can somewhat correlate that to the slight drop in sale price. But this may be short-lived. The reason I say that is because a lot of properties, maybe they don't get, maybe I should put it this way. They are on the market because the sellers are trying to cash in when they saw the numbers in January or early February. So they are trying to cash in. So we're going to see more and more listings go on to the market because they want to capitalize on the gain. However, they may not get the price that they want. And what ends up happening is they will take the listing back. So it'll be off market again. And so we may have a cycle where we have lots of inventory in March, but all of a sudden it drops down, and April, May, there may be back to a shortage. So if you are a buyer right now, this moment, this couple of weeks is a great time to buy. You may be still paying more than the price in February, but you aren't paying that much more. If you're lucky, you maybe even find some property that must sell, but they missed the window in early February. They still need to sell because they bought something, and you can negotiate with them for, list price, just over list price, or even under list price. So right now is a really critical time frame for anyone that's looking to buy. You need to be in the market right now. You need to be ready to go. And if something that is good comes along, they maybe didn't get the price that they want on offer day, you're able to go the next day, you can score some sweet deals. Looking at the condo side, so again, there was a pretty big increase in number of inventory. The number of transactions actually stay pretty much the same. So again, we have a larger gap here. As I always say, when the number of listings available on the market outruns, the rate of increase outruns the rate of increase for number of transactions, we create a gap, and that in turn puts pressure on price. And that's why we see a slight downward trend in the average price. Let me just delete the markings here. And so in terms of the condo market, number of transaction is lower, but don't forget the percentage of selling over asking is still over 80%. And that's similar to the freehold side. Also 87% are still selling over asking. So the market is strong. There's just a lot of inventory. And so if something is a seller is too greedy, or they weren't lucky because you're trying to sell a property within a week, they weren't lucky to get the price they want, they might stick around for a little bit more, and eventually they will get the price that they want. So some of that over asking property could have been from the week before, over asking transaction. So things are still selling okay, but keep an eye out. If you're in the market, you may be able to find a good deal. Number of average price for condo now, it's 832,000. So last week I think we skipped the rental side. I totally forgot. So this week we're going to take a look at the rental side as well. In the rental side, there was a dip the week before. There was a dip in number of listings, but then it shot back up to over 1,000. So in Toronto area, there it was added about 1,000 unit available for lease. In terms of the number of transactions, it was between 580 to 635, pretty stable. Every week seems to be about 600 to around 600 transactions. So adding that many rental in may cause a slight drop in rental prices, and we can see that right here. I guess the bigger unit dropped more. The 1 bedroom 1+1 still pretty much stays the same, and so the rental market is stable, but it's not red hot. People aren't paying for a lot more over asking. And so if you have a rental property, it's still a good time to sell now. I don't think your rent is going to be much more than last year. So, but the prices have gone up. So definitely consider selling your rental property. All right, so that wraps up our review of what happened last week. Remaining time of what I wanted to talk about is marketing. With the really good market, a lot of agents sort of take the shortcut of just putting the property up on the market, and they say, hey, it's going to sell. Yes, true. A lot of properties are going to sell. The house sells itself. That is very true. But what does it sell for? That's the question. And that's what differentiates good marketing versus mediocre marketing. And case in point, we had a listing at 388 Yonge Street. This is a unit that I listed. This building typically takes a little while to sell, but in terms of this is a vacant unit that we saw. Seller moved out of Canada for a while, and we try to do our best. So the whole unit is staged, professional photography. We'll make sure that the unit is touch up, fixed up, presents well. Photos are proper, edited, shows the unit in its true color, true glory, shows every aspect of the unit so that potential buyers from overseas are able to get a feel for what the condo looks like. And so something like this, especially at this price point, this demands the type of professional marketing that we provide regardless of what property. Every property, even rentals right now, we are providing 3D virtual tour for even rentals, professional HDR photography, even for rentals. And so our rentals are typically rent out pretty quickly. So the type of marketing we do versus something like this, small pictures, you can't really tell what the unit looks like. Just very difficult for buyers to envision what this unit is. It could be the most beautiful unit in the building, but if it's presented wrong, you end up hurting your seller. So the importance of proper marketing, even in this hot real estate market, is important, because if we are able to attract even just one more person to put an offer, that automatically means more money for the seller. And so it's a win-win for everybody. And, we do a good job, make sure we get an offer that the seller is happy with. They may refer more clients to us. And so the cycle goes like that. And so it's not just one transaction, and we don't take it lightly. We don't take it for granted. Any listings that we come across, we make sure we do a really good job of marketing it. So that's my little advertising for this week. Next week, we'll be back to take a look at what's happening in the current week. My prediction is current week, it will be a little bit slower still with the war, with everything that's going on in the world. A lot of people are not focusing on buying real estate, but eventually they will come back. It is with the immigration that's coming, with rising prices of everything, house prices have to rise, because like I said before, all the materials, labor are not getting cheaper. So if new homes are costing more, existing home pre-built are going to cost more as well, at just the nature of things. And if there's a slight drop in the price, we're going to attract more buyers into the market, and in turn creates the demand is back. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye for now.